You're listening to Nightmare on Film Street. The current time is 6:66. Traffic is clear ahead from here to the afterlife, but it's hell outside. For the next hour, you're on Nightmare time. So, let's give a grave welcome to our hosts, John and Kim.
Hello again, fiends, and welcome to Nightmare on Film Street, the horror movie podcast for the casually obsessed. I'm Kim.
I'm John.
And this week, we're continuing our something mirrors are evil. Evil mirrors?
Not even the right title.
Something evil mirrors discussion with Mirror from 1990.
Now, this double feature is straight out of the mind of our co-host Kim here. So she's the person to take full responsibility for these two movies on the podcast.
You're welcome.
And, you know, you've come to the podcast with some wild picks before.
Somebody has to.
You've picked some really dumb movies for this podcast before.
Name one.
And just when I couldn't think that you could pick a dumber movie than Amityville: A New Generation, you go ahead and completely redeem yourself with Mirror.
I am so happy you enjoyed it because I watched this once. We had just gotten our Roku. I was high on, Tubi and free movies with commercials. It was a weird time for me. This was one of my discoveries. And then I knew immediately that we had to do it on the podcast. This is probably in like 2016.
My guess is this is before we even had the podcast.
No, we had. I think we had just started the podcast. So I was like, oh, we got to talk about this on the podcast. So I haven't watched it since.
Wow, 7 years in the making? 7 years?
I guess so.
6-ish?
I've always pitched it, and you've been like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, it's an evil mirror movie. We gotta do evil mirror movies.
Trying to come up with new episodes of the podcast with me is a lot. You really just got to put up with me saying, like, what if we talked about Maximum Overdrive again? Like, I'm that guy. Kim's always pitching gold like this, and I'm slamming it down because I'm an idiot. Mirror was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little sluggish, but it has everything you want in a 90s teen horror movie.
I think it may be
80s
also
teen horror movie. It's right on the cusp.
Right on the cusp. Filmed in the 80s, released in the 90s. So last week's episode, Amityville: New Generation, biggest complaints there were that it wasn't an evil mirror movie. Didn't feel enough. You didn't get enough evil mirror. What is it exactly you're looking for in an evil mirror movie?
What are my qualifications?
Yeah.
Well, we need the water wheel sound that goes like, that evil like
I think it's
alien.
I think it's a water phone.
Yeah, that it just spells evil mirror sound.
Okay.
This one also has some steel drum action, which
I
don't
understand
hate.
that.
I don't hate it.
That was a weird choice.
But yeah, you need a lot of like gazing into the mirror and it dripping blood, demon hands coming out of it, black liquids, all of that. Oh, and a lot of smashing of glass.
Okay, I feel like we have kind of veered into more of Three Good Things About Mirror, but it is clearly filling your evil mirror qualifications. It seems like you watched this movie a couple years ago and have since just judged every other evil mirror movie against this. Like, how does Oculus compare to a movie like Mirror for you?
It's got some good mirror action.
Oculus?
Yeah, I don't mind Oculus.
All right, okay.
I think it's probably one of my favorite Flanagan films.
You want to give everybody a rundown on what Mirror is all about?
Do I need to?
This is not Frankenstein. This is not
the classic Mirror from 1990.
No one's heard of this fucking movie, which is great because there's 5 of them on Tubi right now.
We're going to watch the rest as soon as we finish this.
Kim's gonna watch the rest. I'll probably be there watching them too. These movies, I'm saying this like I've watched the entire franchise already. I got a pretty good sense of what the rest of the franchise is
I'm really
like,
excited,
especially given that the producer of this one, who is also the composer, went on to direct the first sequel, and he's involved in the other ones as well.
This movie already has Hello, Mary Lou Part 2 vibes.
I was gonna say.
It's got that 50s aesthetic. It's a little bit camp.
Yep.
So I cannot wait to see how wild and weird the sequels get.
This would be, I always hate saying, like, this would be a great double feature with a movie that we didn't double feature it with, but, if we hadn't have done Hello, Mary Lou before on the podcast, that would be a great follow-up to this one.
I mean, speaking of other movies we can compare it to, this movie feels perfectly where it's situated, like right in between Heathers and The Craft.
Oh, yeah.
Like lining up monkeys to Homo sapiens. Mirror, Mirror is right in between Heathers and The Craft.
It's the man that's just hunched over a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay, well, it also has, that's a perfect description because it has a sort of great value brand.
And Winona Ryder is sort of in it.
Winona Ryder. She really looks like Winona Ryder.
So much. Like, full out Lydia Deetz. Hats and all.
There's no way she didn't spend her entire career going like, fucking Winona got that part. I was up for that part, They
probably filmed around the same time because Beetlejuice was, 88? And this is 90?
Or 89. Yeah. They're very clearly playing off the Lydia aesthetic. Half of her wardrobe looks just like it. She looks cool, though.
Maybe that's just what goth girls look like in 1989.
Which is probably got to be good thing number one, right? We've got a rock-solid goth girl.
Solid goth girl.
And you know who her mom is?
Fucking horror royalty, Karen Black.
Royalty.
She's a good...
Yeah, like the goth girl before the goth girls were wearing black. Karen Black.
She is a good thing on her own. She brings so much fun to this movie. She is what makes this movie camp. I don't know if the movie knows it's camp apart from Karen Black and the dogs.
Completely changes the movie, yeah. There's a whole other movie going on inside the house with Mom.
Yeah, I want to watch Mom. I want to stay with Mom. Yeah. I want to watch her sad life.
She's a lot like Mom in Blood Rage, where it's just, this Mom is in her own movie.
There's a layer of sadness,
right?
and she's not quite there yet,
no.
But like she's sleeping with the pet cemetery guy that came to take the dead dog. It's a long story.
Right? Yeah, so the teenage girl at the center of this movie is in a supernatural teenage slasher, like a high school slasher. Mom is in a fucking John Waters movie.
She sure is.
Yeah, and every once in a while we get a peek into this John Waters movie that you really want to see the rest of. Good thing number 2.
That's like 4 good things, John.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do good thing number 3 because that was 1 and 2.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Good thing number 3, an essential for any teen horror movie that came out between 1980 and 2000.
Is it a death in a shower?
It's a shower kill. Extended shower sequence.
Death by steam. Yeah, that's the way to go.
You gotta have a shower sequence. Is it really high school if you're not envious that they have a pool? I grew up thinking pools, tennis courts, that like there were going to be all of these different sports available to us. We ended up just running laps in the hallway because the gym was like used during our period.
Oh God, I remember doing that. That was fucking awful.
And you had to go past the tech classes and everybody watched you. It was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
The worst. There was no pool.
High school was the real horror movie that we all lived through.
That's why there's so many teen horrors, John.
It's true.
Because it's a terrible time.
Those are just 3 good things about Mirror Mirror. Amityville: New Generation, I think you could skip it. I think you get the idea. I think, you're not missing anything based on our conversation last week. But Mirror Mirror, we really are pitching you on this one. You gotta check this one out. If this one isn't a movie you've already seen, it's free and available on Tubi. It's also probably on YouTube. Let's be real.
This feels like a movie you could watch on YouTube.
Yeah, order a pizza this weekend, put on Mirror Mirror, and I dare you not to watch the other 4. Yeah, this feels like a rock solid Nightmare on Film Street movie. So once again, Kim, thank you very much for bringing it to the podcast.
Thank you. So it was a long time coming. I can't believe this is a 7-year-in pick. Ew, 7 years. We're getting old.
Behind this glass lies a century of terror, an evil force awaiting her deadly command.
The mirror is using.
Ghosts do not exist. I felt something. Like I or something was controlling it, making it happen.
I told you, she is whacked.
You can't just leave like that.
I gotta think this through.
Can he just leave like that?
What the hell is going on?
The rumors are true. There is something haunting Leatherworth House. Only it's not a ghost. It gave me powers. And those powers can be for you too, Nikki. I'm bleeding. Are you trying to say that you had something to do with this? Well, let's just say that you and me are innocent. What was all that racket? I can control it now. See? Control. I can stop it. Or I can start it.
Mirror, Mirror. Starring William Sanderson, Karen Black, and introducing Rainbow Harvest.
Mirror Mirror is currently sitting at a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's
which
audience.
Has to be audience.
Is that audience?
That is critic audience.
Wow.
Rating. The audience rating is a 31. Cruelty.
What is happening in this world? They must have fucked it up. They must have reversed them.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the wires crossed. We get the mirror version of the audience rating, and it's a 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
So cool things about this movie. Off the bat.
More cool things.
More
Let's go.
cool things.
4 to 99. Let's do it.
It's written by sisters.
Yeah.
The movie's about sisters.
Did you,
a little bit.
Are they twins? Did you find that out?
No, I think they're just sisters.
Okay.
But it's about sisters in the
Spiritual sense?
like the what do you call it? The lore of the Mirror is a sister story. It's
Okay.
directed by a woman.
Yeah.
And the entire cast is women, save for 2 boyfriends and 1 sexual partner.
And they both die.
And they all die. Well, no, the sexual partner does not die.
The boyfriends die. I won't lie, you had me at Karen Black. I don't know why. Maybe did you pitch that when you first said that we should do this in the podcast?
I think I've been trying to do a Karen Black double feature
Yeah.
with Trilogy of Terror.
That'd be a fun one, yeah.
But I don't know if thematically, like this,
Nope.
this goes in an evil mirror double feature.
And we've got sibling dogs.
Oh yeah, there are sibling dogs.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know
lots
what
of
that.
no idea. There's a lot of symmetry in the movie. You know? There's a lot of mirrored images of
I
things.
see what you mean. It's just the dogs.
It's just the dogs. But you can tell them apart because they both got different bandanas.
I know, so cute.
It's hilarious when Megan comes home, our lead character, and one of the dogs has died, and Mom's just like, "Oh, the dog's dead. It's here on a butcher's block. Hello, honey."
And she's like, "Get it off the counter."
Yeah, like it's on the cutting board station. You wouldn't do that. And we see that cutting board later, too. It's still stained from the dog blood.
She was trying to revive him.
She had a
didn't know-
glass of wine in her hand the whole time. She's like, "We gotta bring this dog back." Oh.
Oh.
I'm surprised there wasn't a scene where Mom's wig was just turned sideways. She was wearing like 8 wigs in this movie.
I appreciated halfway through when she changed the wig, and I was like, "Oh, we're acknowledging that these are wigs. Thank you."
She wore those wigs to bed.
They never acknowledge a bad wig in a movie. That's what makes this movie camp, is that halfway through she's like, "I'm a brunette now." And I'm just like, I believe it. I believe you.
I know most of the beginning of the movie, she's just walking around in a bad blonde wig, smoking cigarettes, talking to her therapist on the phone, and just trying to get over her dead husband and these dogs.
And a lot of like gaudy floral print.
Yeah, Kim loves floral print, especially if it's gaudy.
Not on me, but yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing about I would love to just rent a house that looks like it was decorated by cocaine.
Like the Maitland's house? Not cocaine, but...
Oh, well, are the Maitlands gaudy, or are they just sort of kitschy?
Well, they're like country, ditzy floral...
I'm just saying, Karen Black's character in this movie looks like she's drawing a lot of inspiration from Jane Mansfield. Like she would have that fur-lined the bathroom that you showed me the other day. And I would love to rent a house like that, but I would not live in it, especially like gaudy floral print stuff.
I would live in a gaudy house.
Wouldn't drive you nuts?
Yeah. I mean, like I'm in the middle of building like my minimalist, maximalist goth empire.
Uh-huh.
With like everything all black all the time.
Yes.
But I kind of want to have one room that is just like so tiki kitsch, too much shit in it, bright colors, hurts your eyes.
I feel like
That we just always keep the door closed.
it should be the guest bathroom. That's what it should be.
I want to do a Bigfoot bathroom.
Yeah, a Bigfoot bathroom will be fun. There's this wallpaper that we've been trying to get that is just like too expensive, but like it's got Bigfoot and it's got aliens and stuff. Like it looks like a normal ass wallpaper that you would see in any old cottage. You know, it's got some trees and a babbling brook. And
It's called
just like,
Twal, but
is that
Twal, Flo, whatever.
is that Bigfoot? That's the vibe we're going for.
Yeah.
Because he's out there.
Okay, so we haven't talked about the mirror at all.
No, and we really, unfortunately, actually need to talk about the cold open of this movie. We can't just be like, oh, back in the 50s, some girl killed her sister. Like we're gonna have to revisit it.
I don't really understand
I don't either.
the like lore, and I think I was like, it's not important, but then we end there. So
Yeah.
two sisters, 50s style,
Twins by the looks of it.
maybe.
Okay.
One of them gets murdered in front of the mirror, and it's a sacrifice.
One of them murders the other in front of the mirror.
I think it's a sacrifice, although they're covering the mirror, so I don't know.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like she seems to lure her into the room. There's like whispers and evil stuff happening all around. But one of the sisters covers the mirror before she kills the other sister. Well, she drags her in unconscious, so she has clearly attacked her somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to cover the mirror, but the curtain falls off. And she seems very distressed about that. And then we flash forward 50, 60 years when the house is being sold. That mirror has just been stuffed in a closet somewhere. They're collecting the last of all of her things. Like whoever's selling the house, the real estate agent and her friend are packing everything up, bringing it to the friend's antique shop, including, importantly, the mirror itself. It's this giant mirror. It's like 8 feet tall. I'm sure it's got a name that Kim knows, but it's one of those
It's
mirrors.
just a huge ass mirror.
It's just a huge ass. Okay, I'm glad to know we've gotten the scientific name down, the proper name for it. They bring it back to the antique shop, but when the new owners move in, Karen Black and her daughter, who's definitely not Winona Ryder, the mirror is there, and the daughter falls in love with it immediately.
She's like, I'm keeping this mirror.
She won't let it go.
And then the mirror kills the dog.
And then the mirror kills a lot of people, actually.
Well, it starts with a dog.
Yeah, now, it's funny that you mentioned that you don't understand the lore of the beginning of the movie and like how that ties into the end of the movie, which we'll get to because it's a wild finish. I don't understand any of the lore of the movie. Like, I almost had a sense of how the mirror worked in Amityville: A New Generation. I have zero understanding of how you tap into the power of the mirror.
Okay, so what I think, and this is basically just based on what the auction lady's reading and the books that she's taken from the house.
Yeah.
Is that...
She's reading the diary of the girl who killed her sister.
Yes, that it was an occultism thing that brought on the mirror's ability. So either she was doing like mirror magic,
Okay.
and she invited something into the mirror, and so it's like a gateway, but that the gateway is not fully open.
Okay.
Or, yeah, she was just doing mirror magic, and then that is the vessel for whatever it was that she invited into the world.
Okay, so you think that her killing her sister in the beginning of the movie was part of a bigger, larger spell or conjuring?
Well, I
that
think
she
we're
was doing?
mistaken which sister killed which sister in the movie, and I think that's what's answered in the very end. Maybe.
Okay.
So what they said is that one sister was into occultism,
Yeah.
and she killed her other sister because the mirror like decreed it or whatever. But what I think happened was that the good sister, to stop the evil sister, killed her, and that's why she did it with the mirror covering to hide from the mirror that she was killing basically her witchy connection, or its witchy connection to the real world.
How did you get that?
Because she was trying to cover the mirror up. And
That's
also,
it? That's what you're drawing that from?
well, and also the finale, which we'll talk about when we've done doing the plot.
Okay. All right. I like that idea.
I mean, I could be entirely wrong because I'm still just like, does it matter? Does
Well,
any of it matter?
that is always
the mirror is evil and magic.
That's the problem with some of these movies, right? Where you have questions where you're like, I don't know if I'm actually looking for answers when I say these questions out loud.
Yeah, like the mirror bleeds occasionally.
Yeah.
It's got demon hands that hug.
It doesn't seem like, who's in control is really the question, right? Like, is Megan...
I think that's the point, though.
Okay. Okay, so my big question throughout most of the movie is whether Megan is using the mirror and its powers to kill people in the real world, or if the mirror is using Megan
Is it?
to communicate to kill people.
I think
Oof.
that's there you go with that's the quandary of the film.
Is that like the creepiness of it all? It's like, is it really me or is it the person in the mirror? Is that what you're getting at?
No, just that she thinks she's got control of this thing, but in reality, it's possessing her. Like, she's doing things that her as her character she wouldn't do. She wouldn't murder students.
Yeah.
That's not who she is.
No.
I don't think.
You've changed, man. Like,
Yeah,
like a classic high school moment.
So the mirror is these things definitely benefit Megan, but it's what do you call it? Like a symbiotic relationship. Like
she's feeding off of her.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're feeding off of each other. You know, like she's getting rewards via bullies getting murdered, and the mirror's getting to do evil.
It's a lot like a PSA for drug use, right? Where it's just like, I got this under control, man. Everything's fine. Everything's great. I feel better than I ever have before until it's overtaken you and you didn't even know. And you've murdered your friends for your new drug. Some of the deaths are fun. Honestly, a lot of the mirror stuff in this movie's fun. You know what's crazy is that the best kill of the movie happens off screen, but not in like a bad way. The way they're like, oh man, the best kill of this movie, you don't even see it. There is an incredible moment where Megan she's finally broken bad, like she's gone evil and she kind of knows it a little bit, and she's manipulating her best friend Nikki to basically just like, do what the fuck I say or it's gonna be painful for you. Like, she's literally giving her like stomach pains. She's doubled over. She can bear, it's unbearable, right? And at the end of it, like, there's a girl, like, we know as an audience, like Hitchcock style, that there's a girl sort of like spying on what's happening at the other end of the bathroom. She's hiding in one of the stalls, and after Nikki sort of like takes off, she's gonna go try and, you know, talk to somebody who can give her some answers about the mirror. Megan turns around and is like, hey, Kim, I know you're in there. And it's really creepy. And then when we cut back, we just see Kim dead on the floor with a shard of glass sticking out of her chest. And like a really great, effective camera move where we just slowly pull back across the bathroom floor from Kim's dead body.
It's a great kill that you don't see because you don't need to see it. The creepy thing is that she knows she's in there without seeing her.
Yeah.
Because she's got mirror powers.
Yeah. She's like, I'd like to talk to you, Kim. And this is also right after like a big splashy kill in the movie where like it's really stretched out, slasher style. So like you're not hungry for more, but you're really happy that somebody else just got murdered.
You know, I know this would be really inconvenient, but the mirror is a little too omnipotent for me. Like, it doesn't make sense for her to keep luring people to her bedroom for the mirror to murder them.
Yeah.
But I would really love if she had like a pickup truck and she kept bringing the mirror to school to like kill people.
Like she kept it in the bag.
Yeah, like
you know what this plane needs?
She drags it to
the mirror.
She drags it to the locker room and she's like, okay, now kill the bully. Like
she brings it with her all over the place.
Yeah, because the mirror, for it to be a demon in a mirror, you're just like, this demon doesn't need a girl.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's doing whatever the fuck it wants. Like, it has all-knowing capabilities, and it can murder people miles away.
It doesn't even seem like it's ramping up, like, oh, its powers are weak at the beginning. Like, it's good to go the moment they take the cover off.
Okay, so the first two instances, well, it does kill that dog, but it makes the bully's nose bleed in the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
And it gives the teacher a heart attack?
Yes, Stephen Tobolowsky is in this movie, dies of a heart attack in class.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he dies. They take him out with a air.
I like to assume he dies.
Well, he doesn't come back to class.
Yeah, exactly. Neither would I. I guess you're right. It does ramp up a little bit. At first, it does feel a little bit like we have to feed the mirror, because clearly it's like it's eating the dog. It very clearly eats the boyfriend of the bully at school. But I don't know, maybe it's like, as it's grown in power, any mirror that's accessible is also under the control of this mirror, because a lot of people die via mirror glass,
I think it's magic glass, though. I don't know if it's glass from the scene.
Oh my god, you don't think so?
No.
This changes everything.
Like when we see Kim dead with a glass in her. And
you
then
think
when
she brought that from home?
When we see the auctioneer dead with a piece of glass, I don't think the mirror like exploded glass in their house and was like, ee-hee-hee.
Okay, well, the auctioneer truly has a mirror in her room that explodes.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh. I saw the visual, but I thought it was like a poetry decision.
Okay.
Like visual filmmaking. Like, the glass is exploding and murder is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was magic pieces of glass.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? This glass coming from nowhere. It's getting materialized from the mirror realm. Do you remember that time that we listened to that Art Bell episode and that woman was on talking about mirror magic and how like the mirror is another world and the
Yes, I do.
You remember all this?
Yes, I do. And we're going to listen to it after we finish Mirror 4.
Do you know anything about mirror magic?
Not really,
Okay,
no.
you said it with some confidence. I was like, oh, Teenage Kim definitely read about mirror magic.
I mean, like, as much as teenage girl sleepover where you're like, light as a feather, stiff as a board, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Okay.
That's as much mirror magic as I know. But I think it's definitely an integral part in some magical practices. Like, there's candles that you can hold in front of it, or you can say shit, or I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Believers, the both of us. You can hear it in our voices. Is this more or less just kind of a Bloody Mary story? But, like, instead of Bloody Mary, it's some unnamed demon?
I don't know, because the Bloody Mary story, it's supposed to kill, like, the person that evokes it.
Wow.
Whereas this one, I think, is, like, that's the only person on its team kind of thing.
Okay.
Although I
don't know what its ultimate goal is,
I don't know
right?
what the mirror's motivation is.
No,
Like,
not at all.
What does the mirror want?
No idea, because there is a moment where Megan has killed a whole bunch of people in school. She's killed a bully. She's killed the boy that she liked, which was really just like the bully's boyfriend. She's killed Nikki's boyfriend in a truly amazing sequence. But she kind of has like this moment of doubt about what she's doing. And Mom, Karen Black, in a real sort of like emotional turn, is trying to connect with her daughter. Like, I'm just going to make you that dinner I promised. It's downstairs waiting for you. And she's so distraught that her daughter won't come have dinner with her. She puts it in the Gerberator right away. Like, right down the trash compactor, the food processor, whatever the fuck you call it, wherever you live. She also puts her hand down there and dies. But,
Another horror film classic.
yes. I've seen it 100 times, and it always, like, not this movie, just, people putting their hands down compactors or in blenders, and it always fucks me up. I don't like it.
You had a real visceral, like, you went,
I'm always screaming at the TV, like, it's the first time I've ever seen it. I'm like, don't do that! Anything but that! Like, and the other thing too is it would be so gross in there. Like, don't, like, let's say that for certain, like, you've unplugged the wires from the switch and everything. It's not going to be a pleasant thing to stick your hand into.
So tell me, how did you get your headphones out of there when you dropped them in the other day?
Shut up. Yeah, our stupid house has one of those things, and they're great until everything goes wrong.
Oh, it's always broken.
Constantly. Everything falls in there that you don't want in there.
We just don't fix it because horror movies.
Yeah, you basically have to go to the breaker panel, turn it off, disconnect the wires, because I'm a scaredy cat, and then disassemble the entire fucking thing. I can take that thing apart with my eyes closed now. But I did get my headphone back, and it was gross. I had to clean it all up. It was disgusting.
What were you talking about before the Gerberator death? You were like getting to a point.
I'm never getting to a point. I am talking. I'll admit that. But all I was really trying to say.
Oh
there
yeah,
is that,
Mirror's motivation. She's having a change of heart.
Yeah,
Megan.
like we don't know what the Mirror's motivation is, and it clearly kills Mom because it's like a fuck you to Megan. Like, oh, you want to turn your back on me? You want to even think about turning your back on me for a half a second? I'll take away the one thing you love.
Well, and I think it's an abusive relationship thing too, because the same thing that Megan has done to Nikki, like, oh, it's just the two of us. We don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
The Mirror is doing that to Megan. Like, oh, you don't need a mom. I'm your mom now.
Classic, yeah.
Just the two of us.
The kill of Nikki's boyfriend is another great moment in this movie. It's hard to point this movie's really well made. I'm gonna say that for a very entertaining, which is the nicest way to say not a good movie, but I had a fun time watching it. For a very entertaining movie, there's some fun camera movements. There's some great shadow work.
There's
in the
some
movie.
good lighting. Like there's one moment where Megan's looking in the mirror and there's no lights on in the room, and her face is entirely obstructed by shadows. You can't see any features on her face.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck yeah, that looks good.
It looks awesome. And then, yeah, she just like slowly tilts her head back up so you can see her like twisted evil face. But the moment when we kill Nikki's boyfriend is just like pure horror gold. Because Nikki has sort of instructed her boyfriend to go back to her place and wait for her. Nikki's off to try and talk to the antique shop owner to see if she can get some info on where this mirror came from and what she can do to stop it. She doesn't really get a whole lot of info, and that's where the antique owner gets killed. But while her boyfriend is in her house just making a sandwich like a football boyfriend would, like he looks like he's hosting a full infomercial in the kitchen. It's kind of great.
Like he's going full slap chop.
Yes, he's even got a little breadstick in his ear like it's the microphone. He's very committed to the bit. And there's nobody in the house. He's not doing this for anybody. This is purely for himself. That's why I really like it. But he hears Nikki come in, and he goes looking for her. And when he finds her, it's like she's drowned herself in the tub. Like she just snuck past him and just committed suicide when he wasn't looking.
And then we think like, oh, fuck, it got Nikki too.
Yeah, what an awful way to die. Like drowning yourself in front of your boyfriend.
And then he gets her out of the tub and revives her, and she's like, I'm okay. And then they start making out. And I thought it was because the mirror can, like, hear your thoughts. So I was like, oh, she's trying to, like, so they don't think or whatever, and the mirror doesn't know what the plan is.
They're trying to fake the mirror. You think this is like an FBI scenario where the mirror's checking in every once in a while? Like, oh, no, they're not talking about me. We got to get off the line. They're not talking about crimes.
Exactly.
Okay. So they're making out, and she's pushing him back into the tub, like almost like they're falling back onto a bed. Like, oh, it's so romantic, except he can't breathe because she's pushing him underwater, and he keeps trying to fight back. And then you realize that she's maybe possessed by the mirror, and she's holding him down under the fucking water until he dies, until we see Nikki come through the front door, like the real Nikki. And then we realize that this is like some weird doppelganger
it's mirror
version.
Nikki upstairs.
It's Mirror Nikki. Like, they should have done more of this. There should have been more doubles in the movie killing other people, because it's so fucking good. Like, it's like some Twin Peaks kind of shit.
It was really fucking good, because when she runs upstairs and sees her boyfriend dead, we're like, fuck. It's awful. It happened.
Oh no, not my boyfriend, not my sandwich making boyfriend.
But then doppelganger Nikki is still there.
Yeah, she's like huddled onto the ground, laughing maniacally at her.
And she looks pale and creepy because she kind of almost quote unquote drowned. So like that's the outfit of doppelganger Nikki is almost drowned Nikki. So she looks fucking creepy.
Yeah, and she just keeps laughing until she's like slowly disappears into nothing.
Like that would fuck you up so much.
Oh, it would break you.
Like, okay, you're seeing a doppelganger of yourself. It looks like it's dying. It killed your boyfriend, and then it disappears into the ether.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to, and we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Us. It's a hard thing to communicate in a movie about how broken your brain would be if you saw yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's maybe made for novels more than anything else, but I'd be done. I would just sit on the bathroom floor and that's it. They'd put me in a straitjacket.
Yeah, you'd just be like, matter doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, I'd just be like an 80-year-old guy in an institution and be like, I saw myself once. And they're like, okay, John, very good, Mr. DeHaan. Have your Jell-O, The finale of this movie is something. I mean, I'm going to need your help piecing it together.
There's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of wind.
The shadows look great.
Yeah. No, like, Nikki crawling through the house trying to get up to Megan, to try and, get that final fight going. The house is trashed.
But Megan's already, like, after the mirror kills her mom, she's already like, I'm done with this mirror. Pretty much, right? Like, when Nikki comes to save the day, Megan's already like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here, yeah.
That doesn't happen, though.
No, of course not. The mirror's not gonna let them go.
Nope. So, Megan sacrifices herself or whatever.
Yeah, she has to. Like, you were saying this while we were watching it.
She murdered a bunch of people. That's the only way she can redeem herself.
Yeah, there's nothing else she can do at this point. She either has to die a martyred hero, or she's gonna get murdered by her friend. And, just given how remorseful she is of the whole situation, we know how it's gonna go. But the craziest thing is that once she's died, and we didn't even talk about like the Shining moment where mom's getting her fucking like hand chopped up in the food processor, blood's going everywhere. Megan's up in her room screaming, fucking black goo comes exploding through the mirror.
Do you think that's supposed to be like Gerberator liquid?
Maybe. I like that idea a lot more than just like, it's just evil water.
This is supernatural, y'all.
Nikki is standing over Megan's dead body, and she's just like, because like we know there's something supernatural about it, you know, like maybe there's something she can do to fix all this, and she's just asking for it to go back to how it was. I just want everything to be back how it was.
The antique store lady said, make sure you don't ask it questions.
That's the problem.
Like, don't
right?
ask anything of it.
Don't ask anything of the mirror, yeah. And so she's asking for everything to go back how it was. That's all she wants. She's like, clearly, like, everybody she loves is dead. I mean, we've never met her parents. Who knows? Maybe she doesn't like them. But, like, everybody important to her in the context of the movie
Everyone
is dead.
her age is dead.
And, you know, she's willing to give whatever the mirror wants just to get everything back. We zoom out, and you think that, like, oh, maybe the house is going to be fixed. It's going to be right as Megan was coming in. We're all going to go, you know, we can campaign to be the school president again. But no, we're back in, like, 1950. And now she is the sister who's killed her twin. But her twin is Megan. And the photos have been replaced. Like, we're basically reliving that scene from the beginning of the movie, but the characters have been swapped with Megan and Nikki.
Yeah, and I think it just means it's all going to start again with different people.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's that tidied up, and then the mirror.
Tidied up?
The mirror's going to hang out in the house and wait for new people to come in.
Yeah, because we see, like, an evil demon face come poking through the
and it's
mirror.
like, hey, hey,
fucking got you. Like, he basically finger guns her back into the mirror. There's like, we didn't even talk about some of the nightmare sequences. This is a whole nightmare sequence where Megan sees her dead father.
That was fucking cool.
And he's got like it's gross sort of like demon fingers coming out and touching her while she's sleeping.
Well, and he's just like, where have I been?
Oh man.
Like
right?
weird fucking questions that would fuck you up, in like seeing a doppelganger of yourself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the ending, I think it means that the good sister killed the
good sister killed the bats. Oh, so you think that she's just getting an understanding of what happened back in the 50s? Do you think, oh, is it just a horror movie thing where we go out on a question mark? You're like, what was that? Like, oh, I don't know.
Or
like,
also,
I guess we gotta come back and see the sequel to find out.
Also, maybe it's like a reincarnation thing. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they're fated to do this over and over and over again. Like, Megan gets transfixed by the mirror, and then it ends with this showdown, and Nikki lives through it, and Megan dies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, they're going to do it all over again, the 90s version of them.
Okay. That's kind of fun.
I don't know, though. I'm
yeah, it's horror movie mirror logic,
yeah,
you know?
Like, we end with just that imagery, so you can kind of, like, mold it's silly putty. Mold it into whatever you want.
It is what you want it to be.
But I just think the covering of the mirror thing, it's just like, if she was the bad one, why would she cover the mirror?
No, you raised a really good point there. That makes total sense. I like what you're saying. Also, we've got like a blonde-haired sister and a brunette-haired sister, and you know, not that always means that, but like, you know, that we're trying to sort of signify like an evil one and a good one.
Yeah, apart from this movie maybe being 20 minutes too long and just needing like a little slicey dicey.
I've said it before. Every movie's 20 minutes too long.
This is so up my alley. Like, this is such a Kim horror movie.
It really is. It really, really is.
Yeah, halfway through, you're like, I see.
I don't even know if we were halfway through. We were probably 15 minutes in. I was like, God damn, yep, this is one that Kim would have picked. I feel it really kind of feels like you last minute picked Amityville: A New Generation, which I think you did. I think we had made a pre-show for the Fiend Club, and we used a trailer for Amityville: New Generation. You're like, is that a mirror? Oh, God! The time has come!
Have I got a double feature for you? And it's me.
Yeah, here we go. This is it. We're in Kim's mirror world now, guys. Nothing's the same. Nothing will be the same ever again.
Yeah, I don't know why we get 16,000 zombie movies, but like evil mirror movies, not enough.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they're fun.
And horse girl horror.
Horse girl horror.
I'm gonna fight for it. These subgenres, they need love.
Okay, well, with all that in mind, like last week we gave Amityville: A New Generation a very generous 2 out of 4. Like, thinking back on it now, maybe also just like with new eyes, having seen what a real evil mirror movie's like, I kind of almost want to go back and amend that rating. But how would you rate Mirror Mirror? Like, what's your Kim's haunted, like on the scale of haunted mirrors? How does this one rank?
I think I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
I don't quite want to go to 3.5 because the mirror has too much power. There's not enough mirror straight kills. I want to see everything done with the mirror in the room. It's just too omnipotent for me. This is a mirror god movie. This
feels like you're tamping down your rating because you don't want to feed the mirror more. You're just like, this is a 3.5 out of 4, but something's got to be done about that mirror. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is that's tough. It's like a 2.5. I did have a good time. Karen Black's great in it. I'm giving it a 3 out of 4. Fuck it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly well-made movie. I was expecting some real shot-on-video, direct to VHS junk. Like, I had a feeling it'd be fun because you were nuts about it. This is a really well-made movie for like a junky straight-to-video movie.
Yeah, like in terms of teen horror, this would absolutely be in my recommendations. Like, you watch the staples, Carrie, The Craft, Heathers, Mirror.
Yeah, some people might say that. Yeah, that's you are giving this movie a lot of praise now. Because let's not forget that the score of this movie is all done by one keyboard, and it's the producer of the movie. Like, produced.
But it's got that water wheel. It's got the steel drums.
Okay, like when you lay that all out, you do not know what kind of music this movie's gonna have. It is a very early 90s straight to video, like boo 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 boom 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 boom, and then yeah, like you mentioned, at some point we're like steel drumming it up into the climax of the movie, like everybody's dead, we're going for the final showdown, like boom 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like she's gonna get a fucking pina colada on her way to fight Megan at the end of the movie.
It feels very Goosebumps. Maybe that's also too why I'm really into it.
Very.
It just feels like a 2-hour Goosebumps story.
Okay, well, if you're a fan
music
of
and all
Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or if you just grew up watching Canadian television, I think you're really gonna like Mirror Mirror. Kim highly recommends it, but it is a blast. It was a lot of fun. Hit us up in the Nightmare on Film Street Discord at nofspodcast.com/Discord and let us know what you thought of Mirror Mirror.
If you need to get more Nightmare on Film Street before next week's episode, consider joining us on Patreon for a few bucks a month to get access to all of our bonus limited series. We've been going through the classic Universal monsters the last few episodes, actually for almost like a year now.
Yeah, it's coming to a close.
We've been doing it.
Yeah. We're finishing up with the Creature from the Black Lagoon and a modern interpretation of the Gill Man. There's not a lot of them, so you can probably guess what we'll be talking about. But yeah, you can binge the entire series now
at patreon.com/Nightmare on Film Street.
We'll be back again next week, but until then, I'm John.
I'm Kim.
Stay creepy.
It appears you made it out alive, but we'll get you next time. Help us to grow the horde. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you subscribe. More terror can be found lurking on our website, nofspodcast.com. Until next time, stay creepy, fiends.